Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Beyond the Headlines. Today, we take a closer look at the stories shaping our communities and our future, going past the surface into the context, the impact, and the conversations that matter. I'm DJ Moises. Today, we turn our focus to Cebu Province Development Direction and the efforts behind positioning Cebu as the premier hub of culture, heritage, tourism, education, trade, and industry. Joining us live is Aldwin Empaces, Cebu Province Assistant Administrator, with the province pushing programs centered on healthcare, housekeeping, hunger, happiness, partnership, and preparedness. He helps steer initiatives that directly impact communities across Cebu. We'll talk about these priorities: the deployment of mobile kitchens, ongoing road widening projects, improvements in healthcare facilities, and his message to Cebuanos as the province continues to elevate public service and industry development. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Mayong hapon.
Mayong hapon. Nice
Mayong
to see you
hapon.
again.
Yes, and I think this is your first time on Beyond the Headlines.
Oo.
Sige, karon it's Friday, and typically it's the end of the week for a lot of people. But
Busy day.
busy day. So, but before we go into the policy, how did you start this morning? Is it with coffee or is it with deadlines?
Actually, I started bit late kay nadugay mig uli yesterday. 2 days me sa Maynila. GovPam was really lobbying, pitching in projects and development for Cebu. So I started around 9, regular coffee, checking emails, cell phone, and then I went to Capitol, sign all these documents. Part na sa job, good. Mawa kag 2 days, mapuno, good lamisa ni mo documents. And then, then I came here to start this conversation with you.
And thank you for making time, no, for us. So, for the benefit of our viewers, what's the overall scope of an assistant provincial administrator?
Actually, I'm the executive assistant 5 in the office of the governor, and I was just assigned in the admin office. So another thing, kay tasking man me. So I also chair the local finance committee of the capital. So budget and finance. So that's one of the thing that I do. And then another thing is systems review. So daghan kay yung systems installment na kailangan buhaton sa entire capital together with the ILG. Siguro because far my previous engagement and work, I was doing a lot of local governance processes and also with DBM. So mo na, and then but now other than signing all the docs, so mag-set pod og mga targets and milestones sa mga department. So kana gyud one ay largely gyud. Internal yun akong trabaho. Largely sa capital.
I've also learned that you have worked very closely with people on the ground because of your NGO background. So how is that shaping also how you do your job today?
Oh, actually, kuan gyud siya. I was reflecting good na ngano nabutaan because I was teaching for 15 years University of San Carlos. And then silingan ra gyud doon rin diha, and then after that I'd rather venture on applied part rather than theoretical. Kaya university, you stay there, and then domoto na I join mga different work, project-based related work with EU, USAID, and all others. Then it helped me on so many things kay issues on the ground are issues of people. Nya mo gyud ay primary functions of government. So at least dili kay ka ingon ba na wa kay grounded feel. Yeah, also my background is into sociology and anthropology, so it helped me a lot. There. So wala na yung mga parameters that you don't know. So it's a matter just more on having the journey to ensure na the vision and the mission of the governor and the entire Cebu kay in place good siya. Muna excited kay when we crafted the provincial development plan and also the budget. It was not the budget of the executive. It was the budget of the people. So, murag, I said in the last PDC meeting na nagi manifestation from a civil society accredited ningon sila happy kay mi kay naapil na gyud mi sa process of defining what's the future of Cebu.
So, because I think you are with Governor Pam even before she was somebody proclaimed
Yeah,
as
yeah.
governor. So, how is it working with her? No.
Muna akong gisulti niya kay first time ko ni travel ni going to Manila, and I told her ko go, how is it like life being in terminals, kay airport terminal. That's her life for 20 years na. And then I realized, and I realized for 20 years all of their training is about details. Okay, when you're in the plane, every mishap, it's life and death. It's always a risk. Yeah, she has this kanang checklist, what they call in preparedness pa na. Dapat all thing as done before you do everything. So, since she always tells me what is the task for the week, what is the task for the month, na ako'y checklist. So, imagine a month, this is money order ni Gov, so I have to do the checklist niya. Checklist is refinement. Dili checklist na, dili detail. Detail kay si Gov. As in, even the box of the relief goods, inana ka detail si Gov. So you have to make sure na kanang inana siya ka keen. Iyang work ethic is grabe. Grabe good. Di good ma-question na iyang work ethic. Nag-apas pa gani ko.
Actually, that's also what I've been learning also in life. No, when we work with leaders, we get to see the vision and the overall picture. But normally, I get to see the details of a leader's authenticity on the details. No?
Yes,
the
yes.
things that the leader is focusing on, the small things.
Kung gid si Gov kanang I think na test gud ni namo during the earthquake. Nga pag earthquake niya, I think people know this, gikan siya event, and then suddenly ni-text siya na mo everyone na may GC sa mga kuaningo siya Capitol now, maybe the caps lock. And then when she was there, she knows what to do already. And I'm kanya, na mitug, and then we went there. So igo ko, okay, inanigid siya. Very conscious, pero very kanang straightforward. Dili magpaligoy-ligoy ba. And then pero compassionate. More sa na kanang maminaw sa gud siya kay siguro siguro maanad kayo ang nalahi na gud ang work environment sa Capitol. It's totally different. One time gay na ko experience, we were walking na murag pathway ng Capitol during sa iyang office. Inanad lang ang mga uban staff diha na murag mapadaplin gani. Higmoagi and iya gugigukod siya daplin mga. No, you should walk with me. Kay I want you to be comfortable. Whatever happens in Capitol, you are part of it. And that's how her leadership
Even
gets.
those level of detail, which also shows her authenticity when
Yes,
she says
yes.
that this is the government of the people. No?
To the point na she will even prepare the coffee.
I also heard about the food also.
And the food. Yeah, detalyado jud kay siya. And I think the service part of her and iyahang pagka-train sa Harvard of leadership mo reflect yun.
Now, previously we have interviewed si Ellie, si Colonel Pastor, even si Doc Nicky. No?
Yeah,
We
yeah.
had them on the show in the past. So how would you describe the chemistry within your circle?
It's a field of expertise. Like, Go created a team na who's really passionate, that's one. Then second, who's really into service. Okay, service-oriented man siya. And third, based on expertise, what you can offer. Iya ginagi handpick. I know that kay even before pa she sat as the governor. I was part of really forming the team. Yeah, daghan kayo kanang siya tawag ana mo enroll silang self to be part of the team. Yeah. She will always ask me, and at the end of the day, she will decide, right? So I have to prepare, So may kay mo buhat siyang research, mayang notes. Yeah. So lahi-lahi good, pero largely it's dynamic. And then she created a very young team who really wants what's next for Cebu in the next 10 to 20 years. So mo gina. Even iyang mga lawyers are very passionate, young team. Hopefully you interview the lawyers. Yung mga bata kay mga lawyers sa gilid dito.
No, actually, the good thing about this one, because this is also what our viewers can learn, that it's essential to select leaders who are competent and excellent in what they do, but it's also just as crucial for a leader to effectively select the people who will also surround
Yes,
her.
yes.
No? So that's a good learning also for our viewers. So I think you've mentioned already about change. You've also mentioned about certain changes in the culture, no? But for the next 3 years, what type of governance man is the current administration is doing, no, to move Cebu differently forward this time?
Yeah, first is, yan namin na-mention sa campaign pa niya, and she really uphold this. It's participatory governance. Clear kina niya. The name People's Governor is not even di pa nagikan niya. It was really just as more ni gawas na lang na to from people na you're the people's governor. Because traditionally in politics, you need elected people to support you and so on, and that's history already. So yeah, I think that part na participatory governance, even the budget is a people's budget. Kay dili gyud siya executive budget. I was excited when we delivered the budget, and then from an ordinary farmer from Toledo took a side of the budget and gave his insights of the budget. Interesting kayo. And imagine this, they even cry sa budget deliberation, the executive part na at least daw nadunggan nami kanang na ba niya. This is so governor pam good. That's one thing, and also expert driven. Like I just watched your latest koan ni Espina. So he's an expert driven person man si Gov. So let's listen to experts. Listens to science, to evidence. Okay. Naginay one thing, one question is, sige, what's the science behind this? Typical na question ni Gov. So what's the science behind? Wanna give me, huh? So you present something, give her facts, give her the percentage. So okay, she loves to read books and notes and mga analysis. So inana gyud siya different kaya yung approach on the
And that's actually refreshing, because contrary to, unfortunately, kanang common perception for a layperson, no, like me, when it comes to governance, to be able to know that we have a leader who actually uses data to support her decision is a paradigm shift.
That's why the team should prepare all angles and perspective. Kay data would also mean, so what's the perspective? Nasa na sa question, so what's the opposite view of this?
To also take a look at the other perspective. So, for example, the BRT issue. Iya man nag-carry ang issue. So, she understand the study about it. She asked me about it because I was part of the feasibility work of that since 2009. So, we sat down for an hour and discussed on this. And so, at the end of the day, she decided good based on her principle. The principle is do not waste public funds. Make sure it's transparent. So mo to gipatawag niya tanang provincial board. So because she has already a position about it. But she still wants to consult and hear. So I think that's what you will see in her leadership in the next 3 years. The other thing also that I noticed, at least from the materials that we gathered, the vision talks about healthy and happy families. No, I have not heard this in a lot of government leaders. No, so what programs is this administration rolling out or are currently doing to support healthy and happy families on the ground?
Yeah, siguro on the hindsight yun, the background of Gov is she came from an NGO community. Developmental lang iyang approach. And if you're in this work, even in corporate, vision, missions, and all other things, kung gani ka in your work, one of the most important question man is what is your impact assessment? What is your where will you want us to go? And at the end of the day, even in Ambition 24 sa ato ang Philippine Development Plan, it's really making family happy. Basic man ang hierarchy. So what sa may needs sa tao good? It's really the basic thing like health, water, shelter, and all these things. Wag na siya. She always emphasized na kung dili happy ang capital, people cannot serve it as mine. So she always wants to make sure na Nagyo na gitawag well-being activity ang mahitabo sulod sa Capitol. Kay mo reflect ng gihapon na sa imong service.
We cannot give what we do not have.
Yes. Imagine this, if for example, recent calamity lang nato. Naay mga ayuda gihatag sa mga victims. There were also victims. And then ikaw mismo, you were not thinking of ensuring na unahasan ni sila para makatabang sila sa kanang the well-being approach. You cannot help when you need also help. So siya giningon, okay, what can we do first with the people who is providing help? So mo to psychosocial trauma support siya para even her kay di biya to latong sa earthquake party we came there what we saw our body bags. Yeah, she mo nang iyang cry ato, she will do that in her kanang alone time. Mao gyud na makita kay ako mo hilak na sago. Ano binam kay namdam ko kay when you're there you don't have to do that. You're the governor.
You have to be strong.
So you have to be firm and do things fast pero at the end of the day, kita siya ato niya. Mo namingo siya, this should not happen. Imagine lang na mo nag-ingon baptism fire gani tabo ni Gov kay
Sunod, no?
sunod ba? Pero even sa iyang vision, kay kanang frame na you were mentioning, it's her vision frame. She gyud ni craft ana and she give it to me. So ingon siya create a key result ani ana. Ingon siya let's make a future that is climate proof, which is the last P, predictive future development. Even that namin iyan na anticipate na gusto siyang maitabo na gyud ni. So muna na ang challenge na karon kay we need to rebuild and rehab and recover. So we need to do things fast niya. Kung kay si Gov, like we had a meeting yesterday sa Manila niya naingon dito mga USEC and secretary. We've heard you do things kind of efficient and fast. And then she had a side talk with me. Nahinayan pa mga ko. You know, in government processes, dugay ba yun, di ba? And how do we make sure doing na kanang we can keep on track? No. So everything now, even infra, health, maghimo na gimig dashboard.
The good thing, I think I'm able to tie it up also when you said about fresh blood that she's also injecting by the young people that she's surrounding herself, because that also will change the pace also of governance.
Yeah.
No? Because from an outsider also, and a lay person like me, murag hapit na namo gi-adjust na gyud na hinay gyud basta government. So I'm also glad no that even you and the governor and her team is also wanting to change that pace.
Actually, we proposed almost 40 million for digitalization in capital, as easy as GCash in payment. Nabiyaan na juga na sa GCash, everyone is doing GCash work niya in transacting payments in capital pa pag so even that amo na ginagi-investigate. We have to make efficient man gud na. It's ease of doing things, ease of doing business.
And Cebu is a major province.
Correct.
No, it's not like the other smaller province. No, so and I'm even saying that in the context of how it can influence the country. No?
Yes.
So yeah.
Kuan kita dako kita contribution to the GDP of the country, and you know the Central Visayas we receive around 67 billion annually in NTA or national tax allotment. That's Bohol and Cebu. That's 67 billion pesos each year. I think that alone, kung you just have a good frame of what to do and really pushing it forward na kuan ba strategic, you'll see changes good na grabe.
So I've also seen that for this administration, there's also a focus on, I think you've mentioned it also earlier, global competitiveness.
Yes.
So was there an assessment that was made to look at where Cebu is with respect to the others?
We have already instituted, the country itself instituted already 2 parameters of LGU performances. One is the SGLG, if you're familiar, the Seal of Good Local Governance. That's from DILG. And we have what we call CMCI, or Cities of Municipalities Competitive Index. That's also the economic cluster of the Office of the President. It was made and crafted, I think if I'm not wrong, around 2018 with USAID as a standard of the Global Competitive Index scorecard.
And what's the measure that's placed?
It has 5 pillars. We have innovations, resiliency, social efficiency, economic growth, and good governance. And if I'm not mistaken, the indicators there's almost 300 plus indicators, including inventory of resiliency, like how many rubber boats do you have, how many doctors you have in one locality. Because that shows competitiveness. Na ready ka ba?
And where's Cebu in
I
that?
just smile because true, Cebu is the richest province in the country in terms of asset. But we rank, I think, 52 out of 82 in the entire province. So that's why the budget now is prepared to make sure that we will be aligning to the direction of competitiveness. But again, just look at it, the context na the province has 50 LGUs, 6 component cities, 44. So ang iyahag yung role sa province is wag na siya ang bridge to the national and regional. And then empowering the local. Okay, at the end of the day, if the vision is translated to all the local chief executive, even to the barangay, mukuincide na on a certain direction. Munang, I would say, a leader in province should be a facilitator. But first and foremost, should also understand the vision. Kaya kuyog ta. Kaya kung, sa pwede, ka mo kuyog ani. And then, of course, mabiyaan juga. Like, I'm happy to see na, like, Danao City, Bugo, and Moalboal got a good award already. That's the biggest award na you can get in LG performance. Combination
That's related to the index.
SGLG and
Okay.
CMCI. Yeah, affected you can. Danao and Bugo has always been a good LGU ever since. Yeah, Moalboal is moving fast also on that track. So we need to support other LGU po, that's the 4th class, the 5th class, and so on and so forth. So, parang usaka po ang ranggo na to kay if kuha man na siya good, if daghan
Consolidated.
yes, daghang LGU na high performing like SGLG, you need 12 LGU na SGLG performing para mahimong na SGLG performing a province.
12. And we now have 4, no?
Yes.
Okay.
So
So 4 out of 12.
so we need more, di ba? And then in the competitive index the same thing. So sa karon sige kung monitor sa track and naman ay track good kung unsay performance result. We have silingan na to ang Bohol, and then do you know that Bohol gets almost 67% of the national allotment of investment.
I know.
67%. We only get around 30%. Imagine ko, you mean, so ngata namin nga man, because they have good planning. They have good planning office to submit reports, who does feasibility, and then who does inter-LGU cooperation,
And secures the funding, no?
and secures the funding. Kinaman ay process good.
And lobbies for them to be the priority of the implementing government agencies.
Yes, through
no?
NEP then GAA. Nga, kuno documents ra man gyud na. So we go pa wants to envision to na hopefully next year kikita na mo draft naman sa under saying leadership for 2027 and 2028 budget. Mutabla na tag 50-50. Even I'm not talking about 10 ha. I'm talking about 300 million. Bohol got I think siguro ay total around 30B. And then we get around 50M, 860M. In that process, other than the congressional budget, also naman rin kita congressional insertions. So,
And you meant the good one.
the good one. Or at least I'm talking about the budget.
Okay,
What is coming in Cebu. Other than that, same naman ang pod kay. If we have how many district we have dagadagan man ta compared to Bohol. So musod sad siya. Pero again, kana maguna most of the case observed now by the process exude sa budget from DP or DOH. Kaya I also came from DepDed through RDC. I was the private sector representative. Exude sa budget, may shock na lang ng DOH. Mingon na sa, na-ID budget na, let's say, 80 million. Wako ni feasibility. Niya yun, project approved na to start on a certain year. So, may tapuan na, on January to June, mag-feasibility pa sila.
Which is supposedly, correct me if I'm wrong, that's the first
Step should
prerequisite,
be,
no?
it's a feasibility.
Oo. Anyhow, sige.
That's what we want to correct.
Correct.
Na kanabang niya, it takes leadership from the office of the governor to really pull people, pull agency na let's do forward-looking planning. Kaya man na siya. Kaya we have a physical kanang framework plan ang province na 2018 pa na siya. So it makes sense na we have to revisit it. Kay lahi na ang landscape. We don't know kung pila nakabuok ang quarry operations the entire Cebu 2018 and now given the flash flood niya interrelated magyud ang concern ana siya. So mo sa nang order ni Gov na by first quarter of next year human na ta kay si DepEd regional nato sa NEDA naingon na gyud siya na let's finish the physical framework plan of the province kay that is where we can get funding.
By the way, when you say physical framework of the province, I'm just trying to integrate, at least the information that I'm getting. Is this aligned to the 5 infrastructure?
That's just part of it.
That's part of it.
Totally
so
everything.
The top 30, you mean? Kay mura man to, there were...
The top 30, and then sa 30 siguro, I would say around 8 ang Cebu. Then you know already, pila ang division of budget. And then, additional na ng tag 5 para pag under the leadership ni Gov na kay to look forward until the mid of 2028. Pero on the normal budget cycle process from the local to province to regional, you should have a framework plan. Sa mga cities, na gitawag land use plan. And then from that land use plan, you create a physical framework plan. So for example, one LGU wants to say na this is where we want the municipality would be in terms of our vision. Ano man na, that's how the process of it. Hopefully, participatory po ang process may tabo. Then, okay, sige. So, for example, the south of Cebu would like to proceed on a tourism development, ecological preservation. So, in the physical roadmap plan, you also do that. So, what is the infrastructure requirement? What is the social protection requirement? What is the economic development requirement? So, diyan na sa damsulod.
On a personal note, of the 5 priority infrastructure projects, I'm more excited with the bypass road.
In Talisay to.
And the other one are the dams, no?
Yes.
Are we talking about just the Mananga Dam or the 4 dams na
Look forward, we're looking at the 4 good. Pero as last namong negotiations and lobbying, so, lingaw kay si Gov sa lobby. May kay mo lobby si Gov. Kay mo smile man gud. Malingaw taga DOTR, DPWH. Anyway, mo focus tag 2 dams.
Okay. Which one of the 4?
Mananga Dam.
Mananga
and then the other one is the Butuanon.
So, and by the way, the reason why I'm excited about the dams and the bypass road, obviously the bypass road is the traffic.
We need that. We need that.
Correct. And then for the dams, because they have, at least among the many major changes, positive changes that can happen to Cebu. One is on flood.
Yeah.
And then the second is on the water shortage.
Yes.
Okay, in the past, mga good people would joke about it that how come there's just too much water flooding, and then eventually during summer we would also say we don't have enough water.
Yes.
Diba? So that's why I'm excited about the 2. So now, given the bypass roads and also the 2 dams, what's the reasonable expectation
Timeline?
of the public on the timeline, just for this term?
Kuan good siya. We're looking at it kay nana may feasibility budget ang diversion road, bypass road. So mahuman ang feasibility by June. So once manana, we can propose now a implementation plan, project implementation
And by the
plan.
way, when you say that, was the funding already secured?
Yes.
Okay. No, because I thought feasibility plan and then funding and then construction.
The funding, even the feasibility, na-secured na sa ang fund.
Very good. Okay. Sige, so
Thank
you were
you,
saying...
good pa. May kay mo labi. Good. So,
sige. You were saying... sige,
nasunod na
continue.
good siya. And then, so, we both agree with who will be the implementing partners, possible DPWH na naman gina ROW man gina ma-delay or right of way. So, it will be a collaboration with the province budget at the same time, national budget. Para makita gyud ni mo na mahuman siya ay kay according to them it's only around 1 year. Mula nga lang yun, first the bidding will take 2 to 3 months. That's government processes. So i-add yun mo sa imong planning. So, we're talking at it, the bypass road, siguro mid of 2028. Hopefully, ma-turnover na siya na project.
And the dams?
The dams, secure ta og fund, masugdan ang feasibility niya next year. So, we're looking at it, implementation start around 2028. Implementation start. So, that's the
at least-
timeline.
No, I think even just starting the construction, if ever ba, is already a welcome change because we've also seen a lot of plans in the past that just remained as plans. So at least for the bypass road and the dams, if people will just be able to see something
See it
concrete
progress,
na
yes.
ba, then I think that's already a reasonable expectation for the next 3
good
years.
thing now kay this is now a collective effort of all agencies. Kinaan magud siya sa regional development plan. So you can now follow things up. Kay nasulod naman na siya. Then what you will see next year will be a better infrastructure setup of all the hospitals in the province. So ni-allocate na gyud ta ana gyud na igsulod gyud nimo si Doc Nikki, it's not just about the hospital, it's about the feel when you go inside the hospital. By around end of the year, layo na jud kayo ang development sa ato mga infra aspects sa ato mga hospital. Even Bintayan na nigasto ta og sewage treatment plant. Kaya di ba pwede mo labay lang ka dito kay Bantayan is an island. So
And a lot of it is a protected area
correct.
also.
So tanan ana ko sa hospital kailangan i-treat gyud na siya. So even that's the climate proof na gusto buhaton ni Gob. So you will see that also next year in terms of the healthcare. So giuna gyud na kay priority gyud na. Do you know how much we allocate for it in that 2026 budget? That's almost 37%. If I'm wrong in the annual budget.
And which is also consistent to the family and happiness
Yes.
measure, diba? Because if people are healthy physically and also mentally, then yes, it also improves the well-being of the family and the happiness of Cebuanos in general.
Yes. Usa sa priority sa Ninggob is an open green space in all LGU. I-improve good ni na multi-purpose, like dili lang siya like a park, but it should be a functional park where people can gather, can do exercise. So improve. Nana may budget na allocated sa daan. So we just have to help the LGU in terms of their documents preparation, and so dakong trabaho ang probinsya.
Actually, while you were saying about the open spaces, it's not directly related, no, but I'm just reminded also about the lessons that we just had about flooding.
Yes.
And some of the flood plains were already occupied. No?
Yes.
What's the moving forward also on how I know it's a big problem.
Yes,
It's not something we can
so
solve.
far
no?
among all LGUs na storya na to na affected good. They're moving forward na no build zone good sa areas na katong within the river
floodplains.
banks.
Oh.
Ang problema lang like liluan close to subdivisions na. So, entitled. So daghan kay nang historyaanan in terms of that. That's just the flood thing We're not talking about the land use plan of District 4. Okay, because most of the areas now are actually considered fault lines.
Oh yeah, so this is relative to the earthquake also.
Yes, so they have to somehow also look at and use the science of it on how to somehow reshape now development, use of lands, considering the fault line pa na. My experience in Bohol, because I was in Bohol doing the humanitarian work sa earthquake. It took them a year na mayon ka na mahunong na ba ning mga aftershocks? No. Even the last year, mga 10 months na ako dito, uyog pa yun siya. Pero naanad na lang sila. Pero because of that experience in Bohol, they use science. So, na-active on tong Project NOAA, the hazard mapping, and so on and so forth. So, muna karon sa Capito, we really allocate funds for R&D. Na balikon tani. We need to use science to help us decide. Kaya kung biases lang atong gamiton and interest of
Sad to say,
who you want to protect, we might see another casualty. We don't want that to happen
and
anymore.
I think that brought us even to where we are today. So I would agree we have to think differently.
Yeah. I'm happy lang kaya I think the younger generation, which I think kanang mga 40s and below, I'm not part of it anymore. Pero they're because of the technology na accessible looking information, they're science based. Ano bang sayo na sa nila to check whether something it's not true or not. They know.
Easier
Yeah.
to do fact-checking.
Ay,
No?
lahi na sa mga younger generation.
And
I'm
analysis of
excited ko
data.
ana. Nakita na ko ana sa mga kuan na mga estudyante karon. Okay, they have the word naman na mingon sila ay fake news. The word fake news, it's simply saying that they're actually na fact checking. Maybe 8 years ago new kina nila pero now they do fact checking. So it's actually just database decision making.
Sige, what about and I'll tell you later on why I'm also invested in this. What about the expressway from Naga to Danao? What is a reasonable expectation about that? And the reason why sige, I'll go ahead na lang. The reason why I'm also interested about that because that will help decongest the
Yes,
city.
yes.
Okay, one of the reasons why they're building on flood-prone areas because there's little space also to build their homes.
Actually, okay naman good kay visibility ana na naman na siya. Again, mabalik lang ko, we just need to revisit it na using the landscape now. And then we push for it.
Okay, it goes to protected area.
Yes,
no?
kaya naman ko development from Nagat side. So like 2 years ago, I did project monitoring visit ana nindot dako na jud kay nang kasadaha.
So it's just a matter of it's already paved, but it's just a matter of concreting.
Di concrete nang kay na.
Concrete na.
Ang Naga side, completed na. Pero say mahuman ba ni siya sa 9 years, kung 9 years ago, I tell you, di good siya mahuman in 9 years time. Pero it's a phase by phase. Kay taas ba isa na kalimi niya. If you want it PPP, like kaning Cordova nato na link, medyo pas siguro. Kaya ana mo gyud mas pas pa ang private. But if you look at it like GAA, DPWH, phase by phase na siya. But we still want to push for it. Kay need yun na sa Cebu.
So you've mentioned about the Naga part. No, what about the Consolacion to Danao piece?
And the expressway?
Yes, and the reason why I'm asking so that there will be a parallel
something to
road
start,
already.
yeah.
Yes.
We're looking at that part kay segment man na. So we're looking at that part na basig masugdan na part. Another thing is na-approve na po na ang feasibility sa bypass road from Consolacion to Liloan. Coastal. Na-approve na siya. Nanay feasibility. Ang timeline niya is 2027. Magsugod na po ang implementation niya. So, murag nanatay Kanzaga Road. So, nanatay Coastal Road and nanatay Expressway. So, at least ang Kanzaga Road, pero katong bypass road, 2027, magsugod na siya. Budgeted na po siya.
Okay, the good thing about this, ang notorious magud na congested
That
area
area.
is Minglanilla, Talisay Minera up and Consolacion down.
Yes. So, magdungan ang, I think, feasible na mahuman good within the 3 years, 4 years time, or 5 years time, which will be the bypass road of Lasyon to Liloan and the bypass road of Talisay, Mingla, and Naga. That dako na kinagtabang. I came from the
Huge.
south.
Yes,
So,
huge help.
dako kinag. I cannot, what's ako kunahunang ano yun na prioritize. Na taga-south man tat, mo biyahe, manjukog Naga. I can imagine, ano mo, magyud niya. Nanaman na yung road. Hindi yun, nananay mga road. Isumpay na lang natin mo. So, mas dali, I think sa dali na lang gini, sumpay-sumpay ni in the engineering side. ROW na lang yun ni. Kay, of course, you have to make sure na no one is left behind kay kung bayaran go sakto and so on and so forth. Pero katong sa magdungan yun ni, and then that will decongest really the traffic of the entire Metro Cebu going north, going south, at least for the next 10 years. Study shows, when you open up roads, that roads will fill up na po na after 5 years. SRP. Kaya mamalit mga tao sa kanan, makonvenient man good siya and so on. But that's development growth. But part of everything we're talking about now is also ecological balance. So where do we make sure na balance po ang ato ang environment sustainably? So katong imo na reinforcement ni Gov, na mag-ordinance na all quarry operators mananom mo
To rehabilitate.
to rehabilitate. So murag ngano mo man ni ma-reinforce, so iya gyud na gini-enforce. Karon part na gyud na sa permittee na mananom mo, part na siya sa monitoring. And then, good thing now is because si Gov, ni-set up siya og third-party monitoring, not just in infra, but including quarry operators. So maybe you're interested to be part of the third-party monitoring. We can invite you, pero kanang someone na third-party na, dili part sa business, dili part sa kuan, who will visit, kung compliant ba yun sabi na kuan. You know, if we do these things magod, it's just part of the democratic feel na nagi kay somehow na mo nang ato ang Sugbo, because every projects, every services, every programs, you will say this is ours, not by a legacy of one or legacy of someone, but this is a legacy of for Cebu.
Which is music to the ears of a lot of the taxpayers, no?
Yeah,
They would
exactly.
always say that's our money.
Mo nang if you look at it, wa pa juga kita gyud og tarpaulin ni Gov na mo angkon siya niyang naong. Iya gyud ang first of order, don't put my face in anything. So, like, okay. Some would say na may part members of the team na political na may nguna, Gov, nature na, Gov, para may ilang gusto. Di pa makapagbiya kaila kayo mga tao lumo sa bukid. They will know in terms of the change of service. Yeah, it's actually the service of my leadership. O, ginaya. So, okay. Sunod lang sad ta.
Sige, because I think there will be part 2 and 3 with this, no? Because there's
Yeah.
just a lot of positive developments. Just allow me before we close to touch on tourism.
Yes.
No, because I think it's also quite alarming, especially with the October 2025 number. And I'm referring to the hotel occupancy. No?
Yes.
So it actually fell to 47.1%. So what are the steps that
Yes.
the province is also doing? No?
Good thing, good kay God has someone who's really good in tourism development on his right side, on her right side. Kay I think we all agree na taas na kay experience si Provincial Administrator Estrada on tourism. So, 3 things lang I'll say to you. One is community-based tourism. So Gov wants to strengthen that. Na at much possible is income generating. And then second is infrastructure development for tourism. So nag make sure ta na every infra related is somehow coincide yun na siya for tourism growth. And then third, improve service, and gitawag nila in the hospitality management is what they call the ambience and the feel. So not just mga terminals nato, we have a good airport, always an awarding thing. But it's that includes services in terms from end to end. Like, do we have a good transport service? Importante man na para dili.
And are they asking for a reasonable fee? No.
Yes, kanang gitawag na dili, even the service is not corrupted. Na process kay na yung mga report sumuto pag form ni Gov sa Tourism Council na stakeholders to dito, that is the venue wherein people of the tourism sector would really decide na this is, they know what they ilago ng business and they are affected by it, so they will come up with a solution together with the Cebu Provincial Government. Then ASEAN pagyudta next year na mo-host us, we take advantage of it. Natay mga visitors dire and to make sure na mo nang on the hindsight, we understand na calamity prone man gyud ang Cebu. So part of tourism development is to make sure that
It's
na
resilient.
climate proofing. Di lang resilient, climate proofing. Kanang as much as possible, we design a classroom na dapat ready for earthquake and typhoon. We design a kuan and so on and so forth. Kay this is where the convergence of tourism and development comes in. Na tourism ang good, it's an experience. Si Gov will always say that even in the airline niya na experience na a good service in the airline, why people goes back is because of the service.
It's what they feel.
Yes. So if that's the service na they will feel in Cebu, people will come back to in Cebu. And hopefully would generate in the entire country. Kaya even ang performance na to in the entire country medyo but Philippines is someone in the field of anthropology. We have so many to offer in the Philippines. Good. We just have to be authentic about it rather than creating it in a differently na di na siya authentic Philippines.
And I'm down to my last 2 questions.
Yes.
But I need to ask you to address the elephant in the room now. We'll talk about politics. In the beginning, it looked like, at least from an outsider like me, that it was a rough start. No. So how is this administration also ensuring that the progress that's been outlined for the next 3 years is not going to be lost amid political lines?
I always believe na in politics, it's also about empowering people. Okay, at the end of the day, this is just part of the whole democratic processes. But it goes back to empowering the people. If people knows, kibaw gud sila ba, minani gid ang proseso sa panggobyerno, inani na ang kuan unsa ang gap ug limitation, and that will be the unifying force for us to be with the mayors, with our provincial board, and even in national, and even in our national agency partners. Um, I just actually have to understand this na ang principle ni of governance is not just for the few, but for those who need it. So, for example, hospital. No one will question the good interest of it. Ako happy kay because Gov in her campaign really push for an healthcare in the province. Now it becomes a trend. Everyone would like to do now their own clinic. Everyone will now do their own missions. Imagine ha, daghan kitag doctors na entice to be with the missions na to, na surgery good, and then continued pa ni ron. No public official will questions that. So as long as you keep that, and relationship will be based on principle, then later on that will become the political culture of Cebu.
And it will blur the lines, not the
Yes,
political lines.
historically Cebu has always been a front line of innovation. Historically, we have, even in the Quezon time, we have the Osmeña and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, it's about the vision. And the vision is always based on the welfare. Then, mao man gud na ang leadership principle ni Gov. Pero kung imuha lang kagulo yung interest imo naon, imuha lang business interest imong gi-focus pod, then that will be the divisive part. Mao gyud na ang divisive component. When you kanang giset aside ang uban na members of the community, kay gipaboran nimo ang usa, that would really create the division.
The tension also.
Yes, kaya ang collective bagod ang experience sa Cebu. Born in 1983 here in Cebu, I see na we have good people. Yeah, listen to people who are experts on the field. Kay mo sa na ang common ground. Ayaw gyud sila i-ignore. Like if doctors mo na sila, don't ignore them. So kanang pulling people together, regardless whether you have different party or not, that does not matter. Leadership is always based on the vision at the end.
You somehow have answered this question, no? But maybe you have a different answer to this, no? But this you're still in the job for less than a year, no?
4 months pa gani, or
Correct,
5
no?
months pa.
Oh. And at least for this particular term, there's still more years
yes.
ahead. But what one particular lesson, no, have you learned so far
So
that
far?
will carry you through, no?
Listen. Mo sa same me sa tibuok team ni Gov. Listen. And be apathetic. Feel. Kay everyone has their own biases why they come up with certain things. Everyone is protecting something pod why they come up on certain positions. Just listen. And then you will always find a common ground. Basta ang common ground lang yun is it's not about you. It's about the welfare of Cebu. And then if di man kita magsuod or whatever, at least magsuod ta sa pangandoy for Cebu. That's one thing yun na do not ka nang itag din nimo ang tao na ay ko na siya, no.
Just because not agreeing with you, no?
Or we don't belong to the same party, or you don't. They have their own reasons too. So kana sa listen now, and then that will propel us in the next coming months and years in this administration.
Cool. No. So I think it's been a good conversation so far, and
Yes,
it's
yes.
a good way to also leave our viewers with, no, the importance of listening, whether they are the experts or people who are from the different party.
Yes.
As long as the intention is for the good of Cebu, then that's going to be the direction that we are headed.
Yes.
So and I know this is just the first of the many
Yes, yes.
conversations that we will be having.
Yeah.
So that wraps up, no, this edition of Beyond the Headlines. We hope today's conversation helps shed light on the bigger picture behind the story. And once again, we'd like to thank our guest, no, Mr. Aldwin Empaces, for helping us connect the dots in ways that matter. So I'm DJ Moises. Thank you and good afternoon.